monthly. And we started this back in early 2021, in spring of 2021, in response to people feeling alone. Whether you are whether you're a therapist, whether you're a student, whether you're a CEO, whether you are a stay-at-home mom, whoever it is, for people feeling alone. Okay. And so we had a couple of players just after, just around Christmas time. One young man overdosed, another man took another person's life over earbuds. And so we said, what if we created a space for people that they felt less alone? And with everything that is going on in the world today, and what's happening in Haiti, and what's happening in Afghanistan, and what's happening here, and all over the world, this month, I just said, we're going to open this up to whoever wants to join. And doesn't matter if you're an athlete, doesn't matter if you're a coach, doesn't matter who you are. We love you. We want you to know that you belong and you have a place with us and that you matter. And somebody asked me today, they said, tell me, like, why do you do what you do? And I said, because I believe that each one of us, we're miracles. I believe we're walking, talking miracles. I believe you have a great purpose. I don't believe you are an accident. I don't believe you're a screw up. You may have a momentary place in your life where you're screwing up actively, but I don't think overall you are a screw up. I don't think you're a failure. And so anyway, I wanted to share my heart and why I did this and why we are doing this. If you can go ahead and mute yourselves, everybody can mute yourselves. That would be awesome. So for anybody that's coming on, go ahead and just mute yourselves. And we love the chat function, by the way. Hi, Celeste. We love the chat function. So if you want to make a statement or a question or anything, and go ahead and just rock the chat function out. Okay, and we will use those. Very quickly before I start, it's important to have inspiration. It's important to have action steps. It's important to have all those things. But what's also important is to have money, because you can change the world with money. So we brought on Jerremy Newsome, who is one of our kings, who's been with us since the very beginning. He comes on every month. He's thebomb.com, and you're going to hear from him in a little bit. If you don't have a notebook, you need to go get a notebook. Okay, go get it, take notes. We also have Lindsay Freezman on, Dr. Josh Klapow. Those are our mental health specialists. So you get mental health, motivation, business tips, investing tips. Like, this is your one-stop shop. Like, I'm not gonna say you don't need other things and you won't get them other places, but you get what I mean, right? You get the best of the best here, and you belong and you are loved. Okay, so there's that. So I think if Tre joins us later on, just hit me in the chat, Tre, but I want to go ahead and get started. I will speak for just a little bit, and then we will give it to Jerremy. And then our mental health professionals have a little bit of things they want to pour into you as well. And then we will end this thing. One of the things that we try to do is be respectful of your time and keep it right at an hour. We are very, very good about that. If we go over a minute or two, we just try to be really respectful of your time. So with that said, I want to tell you a story, and it involves these two bracelets that I have on my arm. Okay. So I'm pulling them off right now. So this bracelet, if you can see it, this bracelet was the first bracelet that I made for I'm Changing the Narrative. Okay. This is the one that is in current, okay, distribution. And by the way, we need to get everybody on here some bracelets, by the way. So we'll work on that. Emma and I will work on that for you. But see this first one, the lettering's coming off. See the journey from this first one to the second one, right? So this is what the story I want to tell you tonight. Have you stopped somewhere between the journey of this bracelet and this bracelet? Okay. That's the first thing I want you to ask yourself tonight. And if you're taking notes, have I stopped somewhere along the journey of my bracelets, of my life, whatever it is, of my finding my purpose, finding what I love to do? I'm going to use Kenneth as an example. Kenneth is along the journey of his bracelets. Kenneth came to me a couple of years ago at a birthday party, my birthday party, and he told me what he wanted to do, that he was going to create this podcast. And it was going to be amazing. And he's done it. I'm talking about the graphics and the background and the stats and the people and the promotion and all of it. He's done it. He is journeying along his bracelets. For those that are my blueprint babies who took my course at the beginning of 2020, you will remember me talking about this. But recently we had the Field of Dreams game at the Real Field of Dreams. I've been there. I've been there years ago after the College World Series. And I've taught on this before, but I want to bring this home between the two bracelets and the Field of Dreams and this. Y'all, this month, and I haven't really talked about this publicly, this month is our 5-year anniversary of I'm Changing the Narrative. 5 years. 50 colleges, Customs and Border Patrol, Northern Sun, Big 12, Big 10, prison ministry in all 50 states via a magazine that goes out that's right now sitting in prisons all over the country, halfway houses, corporations, high schools, junior highs, all of it, okay? If I had stopped somewhere along the journey between these two bracelets, where I started and where I am now and where I continue to grow, I never would have this. And look, it's not about me. I'm going to say I never would have had this success, but it ain't about me. The success, the joy, the love, the purpose that I feel it's because it touches other people. It helps other people. So the story of the bracelets is this. This bracelet, I spoke to FSU in the fall of 2016. I'm getting a little verklempt because I miss my friend Bobby Bowden. I miss him a lot. But I spoke there in the fall of 2016. And then in December, I was invited to speak at Clemson. 14 days before they dismantled Ohio State en route to a national championship. I talked about climbing Kilimanjaro. I talked about changing the narrative. I talked about all of those things, and it was amazing. So then fast forward to the national championship game, and I am there as a part of the College World Series. I hosted for the College World Series for the first 5 years. And this is the game in Tampa versus Alabama. Y'all remember the end of that game, if you're football fans, the end of that game, man, freaking Clemson wins, and they win in spectacular fashion. So I'm standing along the sidelines, and I am in my role as college football playoff reporter. And all of a sudden, Clemson players start streaming by me to go to the locker room, and they see me, and they hold up their rinky-dinky bracelets that are on their arms, and they start screaming, "We did it! We did it! We changed the narrative!" And I'm like, what? Like, one, they remembered me. Two, they were loving their rinky-dink bracelets, and there's a point here, and I'm going to get to it. And three, they did change the narrative. And one of the things that they took from my talk was we climbed the mountain of college football, and we changed the narrative being Alabama always wins. Okay. So how does this apply to you? Because I'm not going to keep you all night. I told you we'd be brief. How does this apply to you? It applies to you in this way. I don't want you to curse your rinky-dink bracelet. Some of y'all right now, you haven't started. You've quit when you've gotten going. You're cursing your struggle. You're looking at your rinky-dink bracelet, and you're saying, and your bracelet could be your life. It could be your passion project. It could be going back to school. It could be a relationship. It could be your self-care. It could be anything. But a lot of us are looking at our bracelets, and we're going, it's cheap. The letters are coming off. Oh my gosh, like nobody's going to want to wear that. Nobody's going to want to listen to you, Rachel. Do you know when I started this movement, and this is why this is so nuts. When I started this movement, I did a radio show, and there were two people on this radio show that were my coworkers in media. And they had the nerve to say to me on the air, does anybody even listen when you speak? Do they eat Skittles, and are they on their phone? Like really? You think the inference was you think you're going to make a difference in a room full of football players, 100 football players, and they're going to listen to you? And I was like, yes, they listen. Yes, they're respectful. And yes, my talk is set up in a way that is engaging and I get their attention. My point is, there are going to be people that curse your rinky dink bracelet. There are going to be people that stare at your bracelet, your life, your passion project, your whatever it is, and they're going to tell you you should quit. They're going to tell you you're stupid. They're going to tell you you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't go forward, but you will never get to hear. And we're not even barely done. We're scratching the surface right now, kings and queens. We're just getting started, as a matter of fact. But you'll never get here, which is maybe a midway point. I don't even know what it is in the grand scheme of things, because I don't know if I got, now I'm jacked up. I don't know if I get one more day tomorrow on the planet, or if I get, 50 years on the planet. I don't know, but I know that I am so fired up, and I am so grateful. And I want you guys to take this from me. I want you to take that you do not quit in the journey of your bracelets. Don't you quit, and don't you let anybody ridicule you for your rinky-dink bracelet. You tell them it's rinky-dink. You tell them it's a great idea. You tell them, hey, it may not be pretty, but I started. You tell them I've got an idea. You tell them I lay my head on the pillow at night and my fire in my belly burns. I want to do something with this. I wake up thinking about it and I go to sleep thinking about it. I want to touch people and I want to help people. Listen to me, Dr. Josh, we've talked about this before. You got to surround yourself with people. And I'm not talking about yes people, but I'm talking about people that feed into your dreams. I'm talking about people that say, yeah, I believe in you. You know what? That's insane, but it's amazing. You need to surround yourself with those kind of people. If you're taking notes, here's the next thing I want you to do. I teach this in the movement, and it is called the audacious hour. Okay, write it down, the audacious hour. If you want to do it more than this, then this is great. But this is 1 hour a week, Jerremy Newsome, that I clock it out 1 hour a week doing audacious things. Writing emails to the head of Microsoft, the head media person, or sponsorship person at Dove, calling Chick-fil-A and telling them they'd be a great partner. Calling different media people and saying you should have me on. Like crazy. Dr. Josh is laughing at me because he knows me. Like it's the audacious hour. Tre, where would people like where Tre is a whole nother story, and he's going to be one of our featured PALS speakers again coming up soon, because his story is so insane. I just told his story. I told Tre's story at a school in Jonesboro this past week, and I spoke to a football team, and then I did something I've never done in 5 years. There was a mom's banquet. So then this is the challenge as a speaker. I had to speak to the exact same 110 football players, but with their mamas there, and have a completely different message and have them engaged. Okay. So you talk about like wringing of your hands, like that'll push you as a speaker. And one of the things I talked about identity, Dr. Josh and Lindsay. I talked about no matter who you are, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you are, again, a CEO, a business owner, a dad, whoever it is, we all struggle with identity and who we are when our kids leave, an empty nest and all of those things. But I also told them the story of Tre, my partner in this, in PALS, and in I'm Changing the Narrative, one of our speakers and amazing foundational members. Tre had a dream of going to the NFL. And God didn't give him that dream. I can't look at you, Tre, because I'm going to cry. He didn't give him that dream. And instead of Tre cursing his struggle and stopping along the way of the bracelets, Tre opened a gym. Tre got married. Tre took therapy with his wife to learn how to be a good husband. Tre became a father. And then I think one of the coolest things, when the pandemic came, he didn't quit. He didn't throw in the towel. He pivoted. He then took his gym that he was paying rent for, and he took his business online. He started training people. He started learning about fitness. He started learning about food. He started teaching people, and the people were flocking to him, and they're doing training sessions in their apartment, in their kitchen, in their living room. And then Tre told me a story about how he goes and picks up kids from disadvantaged neighborhoods and brings them in on the weekends and feeds them and gives them a skill and loves on them. And the particular story, and I know I'm not going to get this right, Tre, of a little boy that was walking around and couldn't figure out why he couldn't barely walk. And it was because he was wearing shoes that were 4 sizes too small. And Tre took that little man to the store and he bought him a pair of shoes. And we often wonder why we don't get our dreams, the things we think we want. Because if Tre had gotten his NFL dream, he likely would have never crossed paths with that young man. And we have no idea what a gift of shoes. We think it was shoes, but it was so much more than shoes, people. You got to know it was so much bigger than shoes. Tre likely would have never crossed paths with a young man to buy him a pair of shoes and to let him know, look, the greatest thing we can do for people is love them without expectation, love without expecting something in return. And what he did that day and what he continues to do for youth in his city and in disadvantaged neighborhoods from all walks of life, he loves people without expectation. So see, if we're looking at the bracelet story, here's Tre. He wants this thing and it doesn't happen. But then Tre's got the bracelet, right? He's like, okay, God, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do here? I got the bracelet. People might be questioning me. It might be rinky dink. People might be saying, oh, that's going to be stupid. You're going to fail. Oh, pandemic. How are you going to pay your rent? And then he just keeps on trucking. He keeps on trucking and he keeps on moving and he keeps on moving and he gets here. And do you think Tre's done? Tre's not done. I'm not done. You're not done. So I just wanted to remind you tonight that wherever you are on your journey, don't you quit. Don't you quit. So if you're writing it down, remember what I want you to do, and we're all connected via social media, is this next week, take 1 hour to be audacious. Kenneth, take 10 minutes at a time and write crazy emails. Celeste, write to 5 people that you want to be mentored by, that you want to be friends to, but want to be friends with. Maybe it's somebody you want to work with. Karen, you keep on reaching out and being open and loving people and being open to let people love you, Karen, the true, beautiful, wonderful you. Take 1 hour this week. And I can't ever usually do it like all for an hour. I have to go, okay, I'm gonna take 10 minutes here and then 15 minutes there and 20 minutes there, but I just equal up to an hour. And the answer will always be no unless you ask. It's always gonna be no unless you ask. Why not ask? Why not write the email? You know how many crazy emails Matt Mosley and I have written together? Like how many crazy asks? And you know how many times Matt and I have, do you know, let me just get real, take off the mask. Do you know that our program, I'm Changing the Narrative, is wildly popular? Obviously 50 colleges is in the collegiate space, but for whatever reason, we haven't gotten into a lot of high schools. And it's okay. And so we keep going, okay, what are our challenges? What are we doing? But Matt and I were respectfully relentless. We're not going to quit. And Matt and I talked about recently, we feel like one of the ways into high schools, and this just happened and it was confirmed, was through mothers, through booster clubs. Get the mamas involved, get the booster clubs involved. And what did God confirm? For me, it's God. What did he confirm when I went to Jonesboro, Arkansas? That is indeed the way. Do you know that I had more than a few moms speak to me? And one woman said to me the next day, she said, I felt like it was just you and me in the room. You were talking just to me. Another mama said, you said, don't curse your struggle, use your pain for purpose. I'm blind in one eye. And for months, it was a rare degenerative disease. She said for months, she woke up thinking, I'm going to be blind in the other eye, fearing, freaking out, praying every time she opened her eyes, just in fear. And then she finally, in her faith journey, she heard God tell her, she kept saying, why me? Why me? Why me? And he said, why not you? Would you have me give this to somebody else? And she said, in that moment, I stopped living in fear. I stopped living in fear and I started living my life. And so I use all these examples to tell you that Matt and I could have given up a long time ago when it came to high schools, but I need to do this for Tre Hicks. I need to do this for my other speakers that are coming up, because God willing, one day, I'm going to go be with the Lord, God, I'm going to do some things. And we have other speakers and we have other people we want to raise up and send out there. We have all these amazing people that are doing amazing things. Right. And so that was confirmed to me after 4 or 5 years of the movement, trying to get into high schools, largely having great success at the collegiate program, is through the mamas. You get it through the mamas. So the last thing I want to share with you is I've been sharing this year with colleges. And that is that there is a new word in the English language. Okay. And it has not made its way to Merriam-Webster dictionary yet, but there's a new word. Everybody knows the word paranoid, right? The world is out to get you. Okay. Everybody's out to get me. It's going to suck. It's going to stink. Nothing's good's going to happen for me. Everybody knows the word paranoia. I want to give credit where credit is due. Jay Klaus is the person that introduced me to this topic or this idea, this new word. Do you know that there's a new word that is being passed around? And the new word, if you want to write this down, is pronoia. Pronoia. And that is the opposite of paranoid. And that means that the world is conspiring in your favor. Good things are going to happen to me. Miracles are chasing me down. Yes, I may be going through a medical issue right now. Yes, I may be going through a dark time, but I'm going to keep pressing forward. I'm going to reach towards that next bracelet. I'm not going to quit and stall and stop in the rinky dink. And I'm not going to let other people call me rinky dink. I can call myself rinky dink, and then you got to do some self-care, because we got to make it, make ourselves laugh, and we'll be able to laugh at ourselves, but I'm not going to let other people label me. So the next time you start to think, look, people are out to get me. They suck. They hate me. No, think about being pronoid. The world is conspiring in my favor, right? And I love it. Pronoia. Emma just put it in the chat. Pronoia. You guys have been amazing. I am now going to let others pour into you as well. And then we'll have some time at the end for questions or comments. But remember, when you're thinking about your journey, I just want you to think about the journey of the bracelets. I want you to think about the journey of the bracelets. And I wear them now. I promised I wasn't going to cry, but I wear them both now to remind myself what is possible if you believe. In my wildest dreams, I never thought we'd be where we are. I never thought we would do what we are doing. I never thought we would touch the lives that we are touching. I never thought that the things on the horizon would be on the horizon. It was just a little idea, a little engine that could, a little FOD for my blueprint people, a little field of dreams. I believed, and I planted the damn corn, and I plowed my field, and I planted the corn, and I believed, and people called me crazy, and they thought I was an idiot. And especially people said, don't you miss sportscasting? No, I don't. Not a day that goes by. It didn't fill me up anymore. It didn't fill my soul, my cup anymore. Last thing I'm going to say to you is this. Listen to me. I've also been using this illustration recently, Dr. Josh and Lindsay. You'll love this. Imagine there's a cup in your soul, okay? There's a cup in your soul, right? And what's in that cup is what you're going to spill on people. So if you're not processing what's in here, and what's in here is what we call funky junk, bitterness, anger, unforgiveness, trauma, whatever it is, and you bump into me, what am I going to spill on you, Jerremy? I'm going to spill bitterness, anger, unforgiveness. I'm going to blow on you, right? But for those of us, and it's never too late to be under construction. I think you can decide to get under construction right now and get into some grief counseling, get into therapy, read some books, start processing how you're feeling, how your brain is wired. But for those of us that are under construction, we're kind of you're dealing with your stuff. And that doesn't mean that there are days where, even being under construction, that I don't bump somebody and spill crappy stuff on them. I got to apologize. I apologize and say, I'm sorry. Emma's heard me apologize. Most people on here have heard me apologize before. Okay. So, but if you are working it out in here and you bump into somebody, what you going to spill on them? Peace, joy, love, grace. And I'd say to somebody, when I spill on them, I know what you're going through. I've been there before. I got 2 ears and one mouth. Can I listen? Last tip I'm going to give you, and this is a really, really good one. If you want to avoid future arguments with your significant other, with a friend, with a coworker, with whoever it may be, with a family member, you can say at the beginning of a conversation, would you like me to listen? Or would you like me listen just to listen? Or would you like me to listen to provide solutions? Y'all, it's a game changer. With women, with men, Jerremy is nodding. He gets it because men want to fix it. And most of the time, we women want you to just like listen to us. We don't want you to fix it. We want you to listen. And actually a therapist friend of mine is one, her name's Melanie Reese, that taught me that idea, because one day after church, she was going through some things. And as a therapist, sometimes therapists, because everybody talks to them, they need somebody to talk to. And she was telling me everything. We're having brunch. And I'm listening. I'm thinking she wants me to listen to help her. And in the middle of it, she slaps a table like that. And she said, I just need you to listen. And I said, okay, I'm listening. Not listening to respond. I'm just listening. So anywho, I like to give tips. Everybody on here knows this. I like to give life tips. I like to help you. I like to give you tools to be able to deal with your everyday life, not deal with it, be grateful for it, live it out loud, overcome adversity, not consider yourself a failure when you fail. I like to give you tips. And so I hope today the pronoia, the paranoia, the bracelet journey, being able to approach loved ones or people you work with and ask them what they want from you and what they need from you. And those are a couple of different things. And so I hope I've done that. And so now I would love to turn it over to Jerremy Newsome. If you're on this call for the first time, do not leave. Do not leave. Do not leave. Do not leave. You are about to get bomb.com investing information, and then Lindsay and Dr. Josh. And then we're going to let Tre speak for a minute if he has any business advice as well, because he's just been absolutely amazing. And we will get you out by 9 o'clock. Love you guys.
Love it, Rachel. Oh, she's so good. She's so good in every sense of the term, every sense of the way. Thank you, Rachel, for having me on here. It's an honor and privilege. And what I'm going to do for the next 7 minutes is I'm going to ask something of Rachel in front of everybody. Rachel, when can you and I share the same stage together?
Please.
That's going to be my ask.
Please. Let's go. 2022. Let's do it. 2022.
Come on. Let's do it.
Okay.
Done. Yeah, we got to start thinking this through, because yes. I love you. I love your energy. I love what we're called to do. Let's get it. That's going to be an exciting day. All right. So what I want to do over the next 6.5 minutes is I want us to think about some thoughts and beliefs you have about money. All right. So think back in your mind for just a moment, some sayings, some beliefs, some phrases, some ideas you have about money. I'm going to see how many I can dispel in the next 6.5 minutes. And what I'm going to ask you to do is either type them in the chat pane or at some point unmute yourself and just go ahead and throw one at me. And I'm going to try to dispel it, because I wrote a book called Thieves. And in that book, I sit down and I just do my absolute best to dispel money myths. Simple as that. All right. Beautiful. So we got one out there. It's one of my favorite. Money is the root of all evil. Fantastic. So that's a scripture, but there's one problem. There's a word left out. There's a word left out. We hear this term all the time, and Rachel knows it. She's baiting me, and it's okay. There's a word left out. The scripture says money is the root of all evil, right? Money, the love of money is the root. Love of money is the root, is the root, is the root. Meaning, if you are going to be an evil person, you have to love money, right? You can't be evil and not love money. It's a requirement. But you also can decide what type of tree, what type of money tree that you're growing in your heart and your family and your legacy and your community and your church. You get to decide. It's a root system. Is it a bountiful, abundant, giving tree, or is it a scarcity, greedy, hateful tree? You get to pick. The root system is your choice, right? Love of money is the root of all evil. You get to decide what type of root it is going to be. All right. Sienna says money can be earned in any way possible. Ooh, it's so true, though. That's just a beautiful statement. Money can be earned in any way possible. Let me give you 2 Uber drivers. Uber driver number 1 wakes up, does what he or she wants to do every single day, drives Uber, awesome person. Uber driver number 2, same car, same purse, same everything. There's no difference. The only difference between these 2 people is the second person went to YouTube and typed in, how can I be the best Uber driver ever? And that person number 2, watched every video that came up, read every blog, went to every seminar, went to every webinar, attended everything, sat there and studied how they can do what? Not become a better person. No. Increase their standards. That's what Uber driver number 2 is now doing. They're increasing their standards. If you increase your standards, money will always follow, always. Because if you increase your standards, you increase more your value, and you start adding more value to the world, you get paid more. Fact. All right, that's a good one. I love it. Lindsay says, change that to money is the root to comfort and joy. I like that one. So on that note, there's a really, really cool phrase I love to say a lot. Many people will say, money can't solve all of your problems, but money can solve all of your money problems. What happens is you get to find out how many problems you don't have that aren't related to money. You think that you don't have enough money, but okay, I get that. You start fixing all the things in your house that are broken, and you get your new car, and you get your new furniture, and you get everything fixed that needs to be fixed. Then you can start working on some of the bigger stuff, some of the internal stuff. But here's the truth. Money does solve all of your money problems. If you got money problems, money can solve those problems. You just have to know how to use it. It's a tool. Money amplifies who you are right now. That is another fact. So if you have a fear, if you have prejudice, if you have love, if you have hate, if you have abundance, whatever you have in your heart, money only amplifies that. Dave Ramsey says that money is a tool, right? Just like a brick can be thrown through a window at church, or it can be used to build a hospital. Right? What type of tool are you using? Okay, money comes and money goes. Yeah, that's a very, very true statement. And here's what's amazing. If we want more money, we have to do the second part of that formula. Go. We have to circulate money. If we sit here and we take all the money that we have in our possession, Kenneth, right? So Kenneth is a baller. So Kenneth takes every single dollar he has and holds every single dollar he has in this hand. How much more can he get? Well, not a lot, because like all the money he has is, isn't it? So like if he has to open his hand to go get more, right? So we have to be open with our money. We have to let it flow in and flow out. We have to think about when we give money to an Uber driver, when we tip generously to a waitress, when we help someone in need, we are circulating money. Money loves to be circulated. It's called the velocity of money. We need to circulate the money within ourselves, within our community, within our church, within our friend group. We absolutely need to circulate money, because if you circulate money, it will grow. When you give, more is always returned to you. So you have to give to get more. It's a fact. It's one of those universal laws about money. So always think through that. Now, Emma has mentioned a good one. Stocks are hard to understand unless you study it in college or work in the stock market. That is such a good belief. It's so untrue, but it's a very good belief. A lot of people have that. You have to be rich to invest, and stocks are hard to understand unless you study it in college. Well, fun fact, they don't teach it in college, so it's really hard to study it there anyway. And number 2, working in the stock market, I don't even know what that means. and technically I work in the stock market every day. So every single person out there has the ability, the time, and the knowledge to understand that stocks can go higher, and you buy a stock. If it goes up, you make money. Everyone knows that. What we don't know is the how. We don't know how to do it. What buttons to press? Where do we press those buttons? How much do we invest? How long do we hold? We need to really, really, really understand these intricate pieces. All I do is I teach people how to press buttons perfectly, because there is a perfect process to pressing buttons in the stock market. And doesn't mean that you won't lose money sometimes, but if you press the right buttons at the right time, you can make a lot of money. It's all about learning, mindset, and growth. My friends, there are so many thousands of beliefs about money that we hold subconsciously in our mind every single day. The best advice I ever got from my dad, I asked my dad, Dad, what should I do with my life? I was 12 or 13 years old. He says, son, study money. He goes, I'm too dumb and I'm too poor and I'm too old to learn right now, but you're young and you're smart. So go study money. If you can figure out how money works, you'll always be rich. That was the best advice I think I've ever gotten from my pops. Because simply put, my friends, if we want more of something, we have to talk about it more. We have to be open about it. We have to study it. We have to study it, and we have to study it, and we have to study it. The best way to study money is get a book with the word money in the title and start reading it. Or if you don't like to read books, you like to listen to it, get an Audible. Okay. If you can't do that, pay someone to read it to you. Okay. Get books with the word money in the title. Here are 3. If you want to change your life and elevate yourself from where you are right now to where you want to be, here are 3 books that you need to read. Right? Leaders are readers, my friends. So here we go.
Yes.
Money Mastered the Game. Money Mastered the Game by Tony Robbins. It's a big one. Yep. Money Mastered the Game by Tony Robbins. Number 2, it's our girl, Jen Sincero. She wrote a book called You Are a Badass at Making Money. All right. That's number 2. Phenomenal book. And only because I love myself, number 3, Money Grows on Trees. Those 3 books, you knock out those 3 books between now and the end of the year, and I could almost guarantee you that you would double your income. You would double your income between now and the exact same time next year. Take me up on it. If I'm wrong, I will give you a personal one-on-one free coaching session. You were here now, you were here live, you got it on video, hit me up. You read those 3 books, and if your income doesn't double in the next calendar year, hit me up and I'll give you a free coaching session. Take me up on it. What's up?
So one of the reasons I love Jerremy is this. One of the reasons I love Jerremy is he has a similar, it's the same soul as me. He's like my brother from another mother. He has taken what he has learned and he's given it to the world. Reallifetrading.com. Reallifetrading.com. I'm not selling you his course. It's free. FREE. You're a dummy, and I'm calling you a dummy if you don't go do it. Real life trading. He teaches you the stock market. He taught me. Now listen, I don't have any water right now. We have fruit flies in my house. I'm just being real. I'm getting married. Our house is under renovation, and I'm running a movement. So I got a lot going on. But what Jerremy taught me a while back was go onto Coinbase, get into something called Ethereum, and just do yourself every week or every other week, do yourself an automatic deposit. And he said, treat it like a savings plan. So I went on there, and every 2 weeks, it makes a deposit from my account into this sort of crypto. And I go on there and check, just because I'm busy right now, and y'all are probably laughing at me with my no water and my fruit flies, but that is real life when you have renovations going on, and my power could go off at any minute. But anyway, my point in saying all that is to make you laugh and to relate to you, but also to say, I've got money that I'm making, just like the people that way back in the day said, I wish I had invested in. I'm investing in it. I'm like investing in it, Jerremy Newsome, because you taught me to do
it. Yes, you are. You're doing it. So I'll say this, if anybody wants to take up our girl, Rachel, do the exact same thing, I'll post a link in the chat pane. Team, I'm serious, do it. 10 bucks a week, $5, it doesn't matter. Just put it on automatic repeat. Just purchase this asset, because I'm telling you, as a professional in this space, it will go higher over time. The best way to make a lot of money in your lifetime is to buy assets, appreciable assets. Let's get after it, my friends. Come on.
Okay. So, Jerremy said something really quickly that sparked something in me. I sat on, nothing happens by accident, gang. Okay. I sat next to a gentleman on a plane going to Jonesboro last week, and we struck up a conversation, and he's a photographer, and he was telling me how he got into photography, and he actually had a horrific motorcycle accident and was incapacitated and was bedridden. And while he was bedridden, this goes along with what Jerremy said about want to make money, read books about money. While he was bedridden, he watched every video that he could get his hands on photography. He taught himself how to be a photographer, literally. And now the guy is going to LA and Atlanta and whatever, being booked as a photographer. And he said, Rachel, there were times I'd stand outside of my gig and go, okay, am I ready? Am I ready? Remember, rinky dink bracelet. Am I ready? Did I do it? Did I study enough? And then he'd say, I'd go, and I'd go in there and I'd make amazing photographs. And do you know what I said to him? I said, you are like the black male Frida Kahlo. You are literally the black male Frida Kahlo. And if you guys don't know who Frida Kahlo is, she is one of the most, you've seen her pictures with the eyebrows and the monkeys. She was a Mexican surrealist artist, okay, in the 19th century and early 1900s. And she is world famous. She's amazing. She was on a trolley. There was an accident. She got impaled all the way through the abdomen and was on her back in a body cast for many, many months. And because of that, she learned to paint. She started painting her body cast. She painted the ceiling. I mean, she painted everything, right? And became one of the most famous ever artists of all time. So why am I telling you this? One, because Frida and this guy I sat next to both taught themselves something. There is zero excuse for you not to teach yourself something. There is every video you need on YouTube, or real life trading, or I'm changing the narrative, or all the videos that Dr. Josh puts out. Seriously, you have no excuse except you. That's it. I don't care where you live. If you got a telephone and the internet, you can become an expert in something. This guy, I literally sat next to the black male Frida Kahlo, and I told him that. He was like, who's Frida? And then I showed him. He's like, oh man, I know her. She's dope. I said, you both were laying on your back and you taught yourself a skill. Literally, that could have been taken out of context, but you know what I mean when you're on this call. So it was, Karen's laughing. She got the joke. But, you know, they both could have said, my poor life. And I'm not saying you're not going to have those moments, but as Kay Yao said, the famous basketball coach that literally coached from the sidelines when she had no fingernails and no hair and beat back cancer like 8 times before she succumbed to it, she said, there's like a baby pool of self-pity in life. And I'm not saying you're not going to feel pity for yourself, but gosh dang, get in there and swish your feet and get out. Some of us are just swimming laps. We're in it. We've been in that baby pool for years, months, decades. So be like Frida Kahlo. Be like the guy I sat next to on the plane. You have no excuse to not learn about money. You have no excuse not to learn a new skill. You have no excuse not to better yourself. Absolutely. And then something else Jerremy said, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Josh and Lindsay, and then we'll wrap up. And Tre, is that you are either a river or a reservoir. So money's going to come to you, and you're going to be stingy, and you're going to keep it. It's all mine, all my money. Or that's a reservoir. It stays within you. Or you're a river, and you get a good paycheck, so you tithe. Some people, they tithe. You get a good paycheck, you get a paycheck. You take care of the nice person who's had a hard day serving people, because some people are really rotten right now. And you just got to keep being more amazing so we can show them the way. You tip somebody, like he said, you invest in something, you try something new, right? You save your money, you're judicious, but the money flows through you. The money flows through you. Okay. And it's just the same thing with knowledge and ideas. It's either going to stay with you. It's all about you, and you die with your skills and your gifts. I remember years ago as a sportscaster, I was happened to be on the cover of the magazine. I was like, what? This is amazing. But I said in this interview, there are a lot of female sportscasters who are so scared of a younger woman coming and taking their job that they won't share their gifts and talents. And I am secure in who I am, and what is for me is for me, and you cannot take it. You cannot take my man, my job, my future. And if you can, it was not meant for me. Snap with the Z formation. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to die with my gifts. Just like if something good happens to me, it's going to flow through me. I'm going to bless other people. I'm going to tip people. I'm going to help them. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to bring them there. It's why we say when you get there, throw the rope back for somebody. So like Jerremy was saying, you either keep it here, hold on to my money, hold on to my $1,000. I just got to hold it. I'm not saying don't save, be judicious and be smart, but my gosh, learn about money so that you can, along with me, in one calendar year from now, who's taking the challenge with me. If you are taking the challenge with me, put a 1 in the chat pane. 1 year from now, we're going to double our income because we're going to learn about money. So there's my 1. And it is August 19th of 2020. I'm in. I'm learning about money. Okay. So, okay, he is awesome. All right, Dr. Josh, would love for you to say a few words. And Lindsay, both are mental health experts that are on the call, and would love for them to pour into you as well.
Yes, sir. First of all, I felt bad for Jerremy coming after Rachel. And now I feel really bad for me coming after Jerremy and Rachel. I'm sitting here taking all these time. So I'm gonna keep this super brief. I think there's a couple things that hit me, and this hits me every time I hear Rachel talk, and Jerremy too. Rachel and Jerremy are one of a kind. No matter what they tell you, they're one of a kind. I mean, we're all one of a kind, but they're one of a kind. And whenever I hear them talk, I'm sure you feel the same way I do. I get incredibly pumped up, incredibly enthusiastic. I'm busting out of the seams. I don't know what to do. And then this thing ends. And I want to share this with you because there is such thing as sort of the, I'm just using this Rachel Jerremy withdrawal feeling, right? We all get back, we're all pumped up. It's wonderful. And then kind of the next day you have this like, now what do I do? And I know that they're giving you very specific tips, but let's be honest, those tips are filled with lots of emotion behind it. So I want to tell you as a shrink this. It's okay to just soak in the energy and let that do some benefit for you. I'm not saying that that's going to in and of itself change your life, but I'm also saying that when you wake up and you kind of feel like, I don't feel exactly the same that I did last night when they were talking to me, I'm telling you, it got infused into you. And even if you can't grab your hands around it, it still is going to have an impact. So take the specifics, which are great. Take those, but also just let the positivity soak into you, because that has an effect as well, even if we can't put our fingers on it. How do I know that? Because I know that emotions will tend to outlast thoughts. That's number one. That's the science. Number two, that's how I feel every time after I'm done with it. So that's from the personal standpoint. So, and again, I say that because there's always that letdown period. Don't let the letdown period say that you didn't get anything out of this, even if you can't find something specific. That's number one. Number two, I have a phrase for you. Rachel's phrase was, do you want me to, should I listen to help solve your problem, or should I just help solve? Should I just listen? I have a great one for everybody. Help me understand. This is something that every shrink uses, every psychologist uses. It is the most amazing statement, because every time you're not sure what it is that person across the way is saying, is meaning, is insinuating, is threatening, is confusing, and you make an assumption and try to answer it, very often you're wrong. But the way you can always be safe in those weird relationship moments, and I'm not just talking a significant other, it can be anybody. Help me understand what you're trying to say. Help me understand what you're concerned about. Because most of the time we try to fill the gap in, and most of the time we're wrong, because most of the time it's what's in their head. So help me understand. You can use it all the time. Works all, in any situation. Even with your animals, sometimes I use it with my animals. They don't always answer, but it works. The other, two other things quickly. I put 2 links in the group chat. Number one, and I realized I didn't label them. Number one is Brene Brown's famous TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability. You need to watch it, whether you're an athlete or not. And then number 2 is her book, Daring Greatly. If you have not read it or have not listened to it, you need to, because part of what Jerremy and Rachel in particular, just because I know Rachel better, a huge part of what they have both done has had the courage to dare greatly. And that does not mean staying positive all the time. That does not mean being optimistic. It also does not mean, and this is my last point, saying that no matter what, I'm going to push forward on this idea. Sometimes I know I get this get no matter what, she's moving forward. No, daring greatly means also the vulnerability, power to say, I failed at this one. Now what am I going to do? So I don't want us to take from this amazing night of Rachel and Jerremy and just say, no matter what, I'm sticking with it. No, that's dumb. Be willing to say, okay, I hit the wall, I failed. Now what am I going to do? And I think that to do that, you have to be vulnerable, and you will get that from Darren Greatly. Okay, that's all I got for tonight.
And I want to say this real quick before Lindsay brings us home. He's so right. In the bracelet story, do you know how many times I failed? Do you know how many times I had to revise? Do you know how many times I had to go, okay, I haven't done that yet. Maybe I need to pivot here. How many times I had to go back to the drawing board? Do you know how many times I wanted to quit? Like 1,001. I wanted to quit. And I remember PJ Flex said to me along the way, he said, Rachel, if you'll grow and your message will grow, I'll continue to have you in. And I went, aha, I need to read books. I need to have more life experience. I need to study. I need to, oh, wait, I can talk about more than just purpose and passion and platform and domestic violence because I was drugged from one end of the house to the other by my hair. I can talk about mental health. I can talk about interpersonal relationships. I can talk about all those things. And so it's why I'm continually reading, studying, writing, pulling it in and pushing it out. So, but I love what Dr. Josh said. Some of that was I had to have people say to me, that didn't work for me. I don't like that. Maybe you should go in a different direction. And I had to be open to hear it. If I was just bullnose and like you said, I want to just clarify and do, I'm going to do it this way. No, I failed many, many times along this journey. And the whole journey is the longer journey. And so I love that you said that, Dr. Josh. You are thebomb.com. We are so fortunate to have you. And if you, whatever contact information you want to give out, would you put that in the chat? So for your socials or whatever it is for people that are new on this chat, Dr. Josh, so that they can get in touch with you. Hi, Lindsay. I use Lindsay 626 breathing. You got to come off mute. I used her 626 breathing. This is great, guys and gals, kings and queens. Everybody thinks self-care has to be like long and deep and wonderful. I picked up my bonus baby the other day from school, and I realized I live at the beach and I never go to the beach. So we drove to the beach. She stayed in the car. She wanted to do homework. Totally fine. I'm going to leave her to her homework because I don't get how they do math these days anyway. And I said, you're going to lock the doors and I'm going to walk to the beach. I took a 2-minute walk to the beach. I stood on the end of the balcony or the walkway, and I went 626 breathing, as Lindsay has taught me, and it was absolutely amazing. I looked at the whale sign. I did the little thing from the front of the Titanic. It was awesome. I smiled at everybody, and then I went and got in my car. And I'm telling you that 5 minutes or less fed my soul. It filled my cup. It allowed me to smile at everybody and bump into everybody with joy and peace and love. It doesn't have to be something crazy, Lindsay. Take it from me, girl.
Yes. Thank you for reiterating that. And I'm so proud of you for doing it yourself, because you reach a lot of people and a lot of people will do that. And like you said, the best part of that is that it's so simple. So if you are new on this call, exactly what Rachel just said, I just wanted to go over that. And I'm going to do one more really quick concept, but it's the breathing, the breath work just makes you present. The key to anything is getting present in your present moment right now. And those deep breaths, the inhale for 6, hold for 2, and exhale for 6, it gets you into that present moment. It's like a guaranteed way to get you there. So try that, do that throughout the day. Like Rachel said, take some time. It's less than 2 minutes, literally. I count the seconds for my clients. I think it's like 45 seconds in all. So if you can do that 3 times, it's 626 times 3, do that. The one concept I wanted to kind of just, it's kind of like a challenge. So challenge yourselves this week, this month, maybe on our next call, we can talk about how you guys did, but it's the concept of living at cause. The concept is cause is greater than effect. So it's the word cause is greater than effect. So there's 2 types of people. There are people who live at cause, and there are people who live at effect. People who live at cause have answers and get results, and people who live in effect have reasons and have excuses. So think about that. It's situational. There's going to be times where it's really easy to be at cause for the positive things. You're having a good day because you woke up early and you did your meditation and you wrote down your intentions, and you're having a good day because you put the work in. It's harder to be at cause for the negativity. And like we said in this call, there's going to be negativity. There's negative things. It's working through the negative things that gets you there. So if you are able to consistently just have that in the back of your mind of, you know what, let me be at cause for this situation, it empowers you. And that's the end of the cause over effect equals empowerment. Mm-hmm. And to me, and what I've learned and what I teach is empowerment is having answers to anything. Imagine having an answer to any problem. Imagine always having the solution. Mm-hmm. And if you can put yourself at cause rather than be in effect, you will always have the solution. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm going to end it with. So challenge yourselves this month. Every day is different, but challenge yourselves in each situation, everything that comes up, to be at cause and see how that affects you, and see how, you know, you can put yourself at cause and you can like empower yourself. So empower yourselves this month. Let's see how you guys do next month. Thank you guys all for listening. Rachel, thank you for hosting this. I love this call so much.
Is there anywhere, Lindsay, your website where they can like learn more about this and more about what you teach, and what you do? Would you put that in the chat for us?
I will put everything in the chat. I have a business called Mental Skills Zone, and I'll put everything in the chat. We're good.
Yeah, and something else I just want to say too, when we have two mental health professionals on this call, is sometimes you just got to go. You got to go through it. You got to go through it. I had an anxiety attack the other day, and I actually talked about it that lasted like half the day. And I breathed and I prayed and I tapped and I did it all, and I listened to sermons, and it was just, sometimes you just got, the only way through it is through it. Through it. Lindsay's giving you skills. Dr. Josh is giving you skills. I'm trying to give you skills as an advocate, but sometimes the only way through it is straight on through it. You just gotta keep on trucking, and you are going to get through it. But I know I've been there. I suffer from it. Dr. Josh knows it. Lindsay knows. Everybody on here knows it. But it was shoulders, tummy, all of it. I killed a turtle on the way home. I thought my dog was dead. Like, it was just, I could not unravel what was going on inside my head, and it just kept worse. So please use the breathing. Please use cause and effect. Please use help me understand. Please use all of it. And if you need to seek out therapy, where there's resources on imchangingthenarrative.org. That's the letter I, the letter M, changingthenarrative.org. Scroll all the way to the bottom. There are resources. You can reach out to Dr. Josh, to Lindsay. There's also a crisis hotline. So do not struggle alone. Do not struggle alone. And before I'm going to let Tre close this up, I just have to show y'all one thing. This is why we do what we do. All of us. Okay. So I'm at SMU a couple of weeks ago, and I see a player doodling. And I wasn't disrespected by it. I wasn't like, he's not paying attention, watch me, da 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 da. I knew it. I knew he was listening to me. He was, I knew it. And so anywho, at the end of it, he walks up and he gives me this, and it's a ball and chain that ends up becoming wings with tears coming out of it. And at the bottom, it says, your greatest pain is tied to your greatest purpose. And y'all, I feel like I got a Rembrandt, a Monet, a Frida Kahlo. I will frame this. I will never forget this. This is everything to me. This is better than $1 million deposit in my bank account. So why am I showing this to you? Because there is somebody out there that needs you. Like the little boy that needed the shoes, Tre, he needed you. This person needed me, and there's somebody that needs to hear your story. Take us home, Tre.
Hey fam, everybody said it all today. And I had to tell Rachel, I was like, Rachel, well, do we need to do a call this time? I'm kind of tired, man. She's like, no, dog, we got to roll. I said, all right, yeah, you're right. Let's go. So, hey, the encourager needed some encouragement. So appreciate all of y'all. Everybody crushed it. Everybody killed it. And thank you guys for continuing to participate. Rachel, she think about y'all and talk about y'all like a lot. And Dr. Josh know that. And she got a heart to serve. So that's why we are drawn to this. So we appreciate the hosting and the love that we feel. That's all I have to say. I hope you all have a great evening, great nights. I intend never. I got on my band changing colors. I need to get another one. I think I get a new one like every year and a half. That's all I need. But thank y'all so much again.
Hey, and you know what? I found the picture from Tre and I 4 years ago. It popped up, and there's Tre, and we're like talking and all. So yeah, you just never know, man, who you're going to sit next to, who you're going to love, who you're going to touch, who you're going to be new friends and family with. You just never know who's going to need you out there, including you. So go take care of yourself. Be good to you. I love everybody. Have a good night.